Well, it finally happened. Disney made a Marvel movie that wasn't shit.
It's not shit! It's not shit!
Deadpool and Wolverine is exactly what people were hoping for and were practically starving for in the MCU fanbase. Right now, the movie has soared well past over $500 million in the global box office and is the sixth biggest debut of all time. Given the current enthusiasm surrounding this movie, I'd wager it makes another $400 to $500 million before exiting the theaters, no problem. But is the hype justified?
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yes, absolutely it is. But is it really that good? And is Ryan Reynolds truly Marvel Jesus? The answers are sort of, and a big fat time will tell. The movie's story has some drawbacks, but overall it's pretty solid, and is easily a must-see for Marvel fans. As for what the future holds, I don't think anyone is convinced Disney is done infesting popular franchises with poor storytelling coupled with identity politics that goes on to tear down beloved characters. But for now, Deadpool and Wolverine have been spared. So without further ado, let us take a closer look at this twisted, hilarious bromance we waited so long for. To give a quick summary, Wade Wilson's universe, aka Deadpool, is falling apart as a result of his world's Wolverine having died, who was their timeline's anchor being, which is a new concept introduced with this movie, and without an anchor being, the universe becomes unstable. Deadpool is recruited by a rogue TVA agent known as Paradox, who is against the TVA's new stance of maintaining the infinite strands of the multiverse. He tries recruiting Deadpool to help mercy kill faulty timelines, including his own, using a machine called the Time Ripper. Paradox offers in exchange the honor of being an Avenger. Naturally wanting to save his own world, he then steals the temp pad to help him travel across the multiverse in search of a new Wolverine, only for him to bring back a variant who is referred to as the worst Wolverine. Shortly after, Wade discovers Paradox is working without the sanctioned authority of his superiors. Paradox quickly prunes Wade and Logan, sending them to the Void. This is where we'll meet the main antagonist, known as Cassandra, who is a variant of Charles Xavier's sister and is the ruler of the Void. We later find out Paradox had a deal with Cassandra that he'd provide subjects for her to rule over, and she would never leave the Void in exchange. Afraid his secrets would eventually get out, he orders an assassination attempt on her only for it to fail. As a result, she uses his own Time Ripper machine against him to start tearing apart all realities. After Wolverine and Deadpool fight their way through a whole multiverse of superheroes and make their way inside the TVA, they learn the only way to stop the Time Ripper is to use their body as a bridge to connect the flow of matter and antimatter powering the machine, causing whoever does it to self-sacrifice themselves in the process. Instead, the two join hands and use their regenerative abilities to share the current, ensuring they both survive. In the end, these two felt like they had finally ascended as true heroes, and Wolverine became the new anchor being for Deadpool's universe. And that's it. That's pretty much the end of the movie. Now, the film itself feels like a self-realizing commentary of Marvel's current lack of popularity and Hollywood's obsession of taking popular franchises and turning them into cash grab reboots and sequels, showing if nothing else they're at least self-aware. One thing I'm sure you'll notice about this movie is the way Hugh Jackman's no-nonsense attitude is a great counterweight to balance Deadpool's nonsensical comedic personality. Throughout the film, Logan is the dose of reality Deadpool needs in order to be taken seriously, but of course, that doesn't mean the film is taking itself seriously, which is one of the things that makes this so great. I can't remember the last time I saw a big-budget Hollywood film having millions of dollars riding on the line, and to have everyone seem like they're actually having fun making it. As great as this movie is, it's still no masterpiece. Deadpool and Wolverine just falls a little short with its story, as the narrative isn't as strong as Deadpool 1 and 2. Both of the villains' motivations aren't very compelling, and are even self-destructive in the case of Cassandra. The pacing does tend to drag on its feet somewhat in the second act. Despite that, Deadpool and Wolverine is a kick-ass time and will leave comic book fans smiling ear to ear. And by the looks of things, more is yet to come from these two. The question is, though, will it be enough to revitalize a deflated cinematic franchise? No! Probably not. as they've announced a bunch of upcoming projects with only 2 of them not sounding terrible, which are Secret Wars and most notably Avengers Doomsday, with Robert Downey Jr. playing the role of Victor Von Doom, aka Dr. Doom himself. This particular bit of news has people cautiously optimistic, to say the least. It seems like people are worried this will be a Tony Stark variant turned evil. Even if that's not the case, and while I'm sure there's no shortage of evil variants of the Avengers in the multiverse, but it still seems like a cheap tactic to get people watching again. Actually, scratch that. It's not cheap. He's being paid an estimated $100 million for his return. Clearly Hollywood is learning to cut back on superfluous costs. Anyway, for a lot of people, it's quite a shock to see one of Marvel's greatest villains also look like their greatest hero. I'd imagine this may be upsetting for hardcore Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man fans, and I hate to burst people's bubble on this, but actors do play more than one role in their lifetime. I know, it's a shocker.
And how come the guy he shot, I saw him in another movie? I mean, what the fuck is going on?
I'm not convinced this is a total disaster just yet. Robert does look like Victor Von Doom from the comics, and Robert shouldn't be typecasted into only playing suave, intellectual good guys. So, maybe it's time to see if being a supervillain is also in his wheelhouse. The main concern everybody has is, can he pull it off? Which would be like catching lightning in a bottle twice. That's all I've got for this review. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you can stay tuned for my next video. Take care.